now you have to get implants, which is something that you never wanted to do. And I felt like it's karma.
No,
It's
don't say
my
that.
karma somehow for doing something to my body that I didn't need.
What's up, guys? It's Lulu
And Lala.
and we are in episode 4 of my breast cancer journey. Since we are in October and it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I figured, you know what, let's talk about my experience.
It's the perfect time.
And it wasn't just me that experienced this. I brought along my entire family who was with me, supporting me as I went through all the different challenges this far.
Yes.
And so last week we spoke about my bilateral mastectomy, and you know, it wasn't as painful. In fact, I didn't feel any pain at all. But I know that every body is different. I have a high tolerance of pain.
Right.
And really, it was more tedious than anything else.
Probably discomfort was probably the best word to describe it.
When it came to sleeping.
Right.
Because I, honest to God, Lala, did not feel
Any pain.
any pain. Perhaps I maybe didn't have feeling. Maybe that's why.
Well,
I was kind of numb.
Numb. And you did have the 3 drains coming out of you, so you were limited in what you can do, what you can wear.
That's right.
You couldn't lift your arms up
No.
either. So.
And showering was also an issue because I couldn't get them wet. I really couldn't lift my arms. And so Lala had to
we had
help
some
me out.
funny moments there trying to stick her head in the sink, and it was, you know,
It was,
we did our best.
Yeah, and again, we had fun with it. We took a, you know, tough situation and made light of it. I have to give a big shout out to my husband, Mitch, because he saw the discomfort I had when it came to sleeping because I had to sleep up. I couldn't lay flat. And so he went out of his way to buy a whole new mattress, king size, and one that would lift up.
That inclines.
Right, that inclines.
Like
Yeah, so that I would be able to at least have some type of comfort.
And support for your back.
Yeah, I mean, he slept uncomfortable, but I slept like a princess. And so, you know, I have the best husband a girl can ask for. So thank you
He
for
really
that.
has been a rock for you and for everybody too.
Yes.
He exudes this sense of peace.
Yes, he does.
In chaos. So he's been a great brother-in-law. What do I have?
Just fix here.
You already doing this?
Yeah.
You sure you're here?
There.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so what were we talking about again?
Well, we went over that, but remember, you were going through all this.
My main goal while I was going through all of this was my wedding. It's in April, and my main mission was not only to get there and to fit into my dress, but I wanted to be able to raise my arms and party. Like,
Right.
because of the drains and because they took lymph nodes out of my arm, I had difficulty raising this one up. So after I was cleared, you know, they were suggested to go to physical therapy and perhaps get lymphatic massages. And so, you know, I really worked my butt off with the physical therapy and the exercises they told me to do so that I'd be able to, you know, party at my wedding the way that one is supposed to party.
And I have to give you credit because I went with you many times to physical therapy, and I saw how hard it was for you to just even do this and your arm shaking because of the pain.
Yes.
And you stuck through it and you did what you had to do to be able to party the way that you deserve to party at your wedding.
For a minute there, I honestly thought I wasn't going to be able to lift my arm because it was very tight. But I told myself, I'm like, I will not allow this cancer, this thing, to get in the way of my plans.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to have that. I'm going to have this the way that I have been planning, and that's that. Nothing was going to stop me.
And I felt the pressure because what can I do to help? So I was really on it for your wedding. Like, I was making sure that Belinda, the wedding planner, was doing everything, and she was such a breath of fresh air. She really took on a lot. And when I saw you during your wedding day, as you were getting dressed, I was like, pressure off. I can't believe it's the day and it's all going perfectly fine.
Yeah, I mean, when I tried on the dress, I was kind of like, oh my God, is this gonna fit? Am I gonna be okay? Am I gonna be, you know, is it gonna bother me? But everything just went off the way that it was supposed to. So I was very happy, and I just want to thank everybody that went to the wedding.
How did you feel when after the ceremony, it's time to party, and you are, you know, introduced as Mr. and Mrs. Mejia for the first time, the ballroom doors open?
I'm not gonna cry, but when the doors opened and I saw everybody and I lifted up my arms, right? He was holding my hand, this hand, and I lifted up my arms like, yes, I did it. I'm here, and I went through with it. I felt this peace over me and such gratitude, not only for my family and friends, but for God for like allowing me to be able to get married and be here, you know?
Yeah.
Like the doctor said, I had the best case scenario out of a bad situation.
And so, speaking of the doctor, all your doctors were present at the wedding.
Yes,
Your surgeon.
I invited Dr. Bedri, I invited Dr. Leon, and I also invited Dr. Baker.
And his brother.
And his brother, because, you know, they're a family, the Baker brothers. And so to see them there, it's like, you guys made this happen. You know, if it wasn't for my doctors, none of this would have been possible. And so, of course, they had to be invited, you know, and the fact that they made the effort, I really appreciated that. So I have not sent thank you cards out. I've been a little tied up, getting healthy, but I will hopefully send them out before the year ends. If not, you'll get it as an anniversary gift. But yeah, so thank you again. I really appreciate it. Seeing my coworkers, all the people that we've worked with.
Our Jacksonville family, that alone, they went through hell and back.
Everyone who traveled to Jersey, I know that week that we got married, there was like a storm, a big rainstorm going on.
So we had people from Jacksonville and from Miami that they went through like an amazing race.
Yeah, it was
just to get to the wedding.
And speaking of the amazing race, all of our castmates were there, so I appreciated that they were there. So, you know, it was a beautiful wedding, and I couldn't have asked for anything more. Yes. Truly, you know, being able to see my mom there happy, and my dad walking me down, and, you know, my sisters next to me, my brother as well. I was very happy, and like I said, I was full of gratitude. I felt the love that night.
Now, it wasn't over though.
No, I went on my honeymoon, and then after that, you know, I came back, and so reality set in, all right? I'm married, I'm a married woman, but I still have balloons in me. Remember, we spoke about this last week. I had expanders. Nobody at the wedding even knew that
you had gone through anything.
Nothing.
Because you kept it
very private. And, you know, I didn't want to stress all of my family out.
And you didn't want your wedding to end up being about...
Because it was about my love and Mitch. You know, it was our union. It wasn't about this thing that decided to come and like try to ruin my wedding, you know? And so now, okay, now we have another surgery to prep for.
So we know that expanders are not made to stay in you forever. They actually recommend you switch them out between 3 to 6 months, at most a year.
Correct.
So
that was exactly what I was doing. I'm like, all right, when do I want these out? I had gone through the other cycle of IVF, which we spoke about in our second episode. And so now it was time to get these bad boys out.
Yeah.
Honestly, the second surgery, my reconstructive surgery, was a lot harder for me.
I know, which is weird.
Yes. I don't know. I think it's because of everything that you went through with your breast implants. So I had different options. I sat down with Dr. Bedri, and he told me, you know, what my options were. And so he said, I can get fat grafting, which is they take fat from your body and they make your boobs. They
fill up the space with your fat. However,
fortunately and unfortunately for me, I didn't have fat. I had very little body fat. That was not enough for me to do that. So that option was out. In fact, they even told me that I should gain weight, and I tried, but I lost weight.
Yeah.
And so my second option was getting the muscles of my back and putting them up, you know, where my boobs were.
And creating.
But I'm like, I don't want to put my body has gone through enough, right? And so I'm like, to start now getting into my back, and then I'm going to have scars there, like... Then he said, I can't get this muscle down here because I haven't had kids.
Right. He wanted to kind of avoid that.
That was my last resort.
Right.
And so I said, all right, implants.
So basically, you came up with a plan with the doctor that would best suit you for your situation. Implants for her weighed heavy.
Yeah.
Because of what I went through with my implants. I had gotten implants And she was very upset at me for doing. I thought I needed them. I didn't. And I only lasted 3 years with them because honestly, they were making me sick.
Yeah.
In 3 years that I had them, I had 2 surgeries before I decided to just take them out and explant.
Now, I never wanted implants. I never wanted you to get implants. And so watching you go through everything that you went through and you getting ill over them, that's why I was very nervous. I'm like, I don't want to go through that.
Yeah, and implants do have a black box warning. Black box warning. I can't even say that. So that's there. And this is where I started feeling guilty because I felt like me getting implants, which I never really needed. I didn't need to get them. It was this thing that I thought I needed, and really I was perfectly fine. But because I got them, it's like I felt this guilt that now she has to, oh, thank you. Now you have to get implants, which is something that you never wanted to do. And I felt like it's karma.
No,
It's
don't
like
say
my
that.
karma somehow for doing something to my body that I didn't need. And so that destroyed me inside. And having to see you make that decision, I was just like, how is this fair? Like, you now have something you never wanted.
And I have,
And now
I have what I always had.
Right. And so, it was difficult for me to swallow that because.
Well, I don't want you to feel guilty because
But I know you don't want, but I can't. It's just, it is what it is.
No,
I have
get
to
it.
go through it.
I get it, and I understand why you would feel that way. But you didn't do this. This was something that
I know.
was going to happen whether you got them or not. That's just the cards that were dealt for me. And so, I remember you telling me that, and I didn't want you to feel like that. And I remember Maddie, our cousin, who also went through the same thing you went through.
She felt the same way.
She felt the same way. And I remember telling you both, like, I don't want you to feel guilty because one thing has nothing to do with the other. Like, this experience that I'm going through, this cancer, is different from what you went through. Luckily, there is breast implants that can help women that are going through the situation to make them feel, like my womanhood isn't gone. I still got these. You know what I mean? There's different options one can take. And so when I sat down with Dr. Bedri, he gave me my options, and I chose to go with option breast implants.
Right.
And so,
But not for a long time.
no, I mean, I have my game plan. I eventually will take these out further down the line. But for right now, this is what I chose.
Right.
And so, the day of the surgery, I was kind of still skeptical, kind of like, okay. And I remember I kept telling Dr. Bedri, who, by the way, the patience of this man is beyond.
Very soft-spoken.
Very, he listens, and he understood what I was going through. And he reassured me that whatever happened to Lala wasn't necessarily going to happen to me. Like I've always said, everybody is different.
He also reassured you that you weren't going to have these porn boobs that you were afraid of.
Because I told him, like, please, I want these boobs to be as natural looking as possible because I have always wanted that. So I was like,
he laughed every time you say that because it's like, what are you, like,
that's, I think, the way that I think, only certain people understand. And so I kept telling him, please, I don't want big ones. I don't want big ones. And he's like, I got you. I know. Just, no, you have to think of the dynamic of everything. I did have the cancer on my right boob. They had to take out a little bit more. So, he worked with me. He's got miracle hands.
He really does.
He really, just, I'm very content, very happy with the way.
Why don't you show them? I'm just kidding.
I was never going to do that. But they look great.
Yes, they do.
They look great. And so that experience was also,
It was a 5-hour surgery.
Again, it was a 5-hour surgery. I went in. He was there. He went over everything. Right before surgery, my husband was there next to me. He explained everything again, reassured my husband, reassured me that everything was fine. Like, I'm in good hands.
You went home that same day, and I don't know, like, you are like Iron Woman because 2 hours from her leaving the hospital and being home, she is walking around the block as like if she didn't just have a 5-hour surgery, which to me was mind-boggling.
I remember my mom was like, "What are you doing? You just came out of surgery and you're walking around. You should be..."
No, because the doctor said, you want to walk, don't sit around all day. She literally took that, all right, and actually started walking 2 hours from when you got home from the hospital. which is a bit extreme, but
I mean,
she's an overachiever here.
Yes. Oh, because when I put something in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to do this. And so that too was also, you know, the recovery process was the same. You know, I couldn't shower for about 2 days. A lot easier than the first one.
Right.
Again, the most uncomfortable part of the surgery was not the surgery. It was sleeping patterns. You know, I had to sleep up again.
You couldn't be on your side.
Could not move to the side. So it was just, I'm a side sleeper or a tummy sleeper. So to me, laying on my back, I was like, what is this? So that was the most complicated part. But overall,
everything's great. Everything's beautiful.
Thank you. You too, Lala.
Thank you.
Dream team, Dr. Leon and Dr. Bedri at Englewood Health. I love you guys to pieces, and thank you so much.
Right, but now you're dealing with a little body
dysmorphia. I'm very happy, but I am dealing with a little bit of body dysmorphia in a sense of I see myself in the mirror, but I don't see what everybody else sees. And I've tried to explain, like, my brain, when I see myself in the mirror, still remembers my original ones, you know, the ones that I came with into this world. And so when I see myself now, I don't see that. And so my brain is still trying to register, like, hey, you don't have those. What you have now is this. They look the same, but I can't, I can't seem to.
You've had your moments where you think that you have Pamela Anderson boobs and that you've lost a torso somehow, you've shrunk or something like that. It makes no sense, but that's something that I have to work on. And eventually, like, you know, today I'm fine. I'm not saying that this is going to happen to everybody, right,
but right now it's just my brain needs to connect. Okay, I don't have these boobs. I have breast implants. They look great. They look like they're mine. And so it's just going to take a little bit of time for me to just get over that. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You know? And again, since I've taken this whole journey with humor, like I said at the beginning, at the very first episode, I don't think it's hit me yet.
Yeah.
Like, I really don't.
Some of the jokes she says.
And yeah, but, you know, overall, you know, this experience, I hope I'm able to help women that are going through this situation. If there's any questions or anything that I can do to help your process a lot better or make it easier, you know, you can always reach out, luluandlala.com. Our email is there. You can DM us.
On Instagram. If you want us to talk about something in particular, let us know.
Right.
We'll gladly do so. If you want us to connect you with doctors that she dealt with, we'll do that as well.
It has been a rough year. These last 10 months has definitely taught me to see life in a different manner. I appreciate a lot of things. I appreciate life more than what I already did. I've always been a grateful person, but I don't see myself stressing out over silly things anymore, or, you know, when I just don't. Like, I'm so happy that I'm able to be here. You know, I realized, well, I've always known this, family above all.
Yeah.
Family above all, you know, having good friends by your side.
You see who's there for you in the tough times.
Yes.
And, you know.
Now, I guess the rough part right now is where you and I kind of...
Yeah, that's something we're figuring out, because for so long,
me
and you have been parallel.
Yeah, we've always tried to carry our personal lives in a parallel manner. Like, you know, I have a boyfriend, you had the boyfriend, and
with our careers, we work together, we do the same thing. And this year,
it couldn't be any more opposite.
Right.
You know, I'm getting married. You know,
you're planning your wedding, and I thought I'd kind of be doing the same thing and eventually have what you have now, and it just, you know, things...
We went the opposite way.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because we were dating brothers, you know?
Yeah.
And so, you know, we thought we were going to have this double wedding, and oh my God. And
or maybe not so much the double wedding, because
right.
maybe, you know, but, you know, as you go off and live happily ever after, I'm just living.
You had a vision of what life in the future was going to be like, and unfortunately, it just didn't lead that way.
Which is fine, you know? But yeah, it's actually funny how we've always been so in sync. And now this year, with everything that you went through, with everything that went on,
it was polar opposites.
It was like we started here and somehow we've ended up here. And so we're learning to do that because we always have had this close attachment, which I think identical twins always have, and it's always going to be there. It's just navigating.
Yeah, and I kind of felt like,
No,
I don't want to say guilty, but it's like, oh my God, you know, like I didn't feel, I don't know what the correct wording is of this, but, you know, I felt like here I am, happily ever after. I'm going to get married to this wonderful man that God has put in me, God has put in my life, and
Well, that I did kind of.
well, yeah,
I mean,
that you introduced me to.
Yeah, it was our relationship that introduced.
Exactly,
put
but
you two
and so
together.
even more of a reason to feel kind of like, oh my God, here I am living my best life with this wonderful man, and then I look over at you, and it's, you know, I wish that you could be going through the same thing, and, you know, seeing you go through that was kind of like, I'm so happy, but I don't want to be too happy because I didn't feel bad.
That doesn't even make sense.
It makes sense in my head.
It doesn't even make sense.
So, you know, that kind of, it's like I said, it's been a very challenging year, but with challenge came resilience, right? And so I challenged myself, and I'm like, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to get out of this with a smile on my face. And I did. And so here we are.
A champ. You really are. Like I told you before, I admire how you took this and beat it, and you were a rock. Nope, you never complained. To this day, you've never complained. With the exception of the little body dysmorphia that you had one day.
Well,
I can't.
couple of days.
No, but you really didn't sit there and feel sorry for yourself or anything like that. You just took it, dealt with it, and moved on.
Yes, and I think that's a learning lesson, you know. Sometimes life is going to throw you different hurdles, and you got to learn how to jump over them and keep going, because looking back isn't going to make anything different. Right. It's not going to
The only time
anything.
you look back is to see how far you've got.
Exactly.
I read that on a meme. But yeah, so it's been
a journey, and I'm just very thankful again to all of my family, to my husband, to you, Lala, to Lily, Mom, Dad, and you know, Carlos, who's been here helping us out, and you know, all the little text messages help. Thank you guys for watching. Now, next episode, I do want to tap into my wedding dress.
Oh, the infamous wedding dress and the drama behind it.
Well, there's meaning to the wedding dress. It was pink.
Right.
And with pink comes breast cancer awareness, right? We are in October.
It all kind of somehow clicked.
It was like a foreshadowing that now I look back and I see, and I'm like, oh my God, look at how all of this is aligning. And so because I was dealing with breast cancer, I never really got to do anything about my wedding or anything about my wedding dress. I didn't get to post anything up. And so I'll throw that in there. And so that is all the journey that we've been through. And we hope to continue this little conversation moving forward. So thank you once again.
Right. Thank you for always supporting us and following us. And see you next week.